Hello, America. CNN, it's not personal. All the media has the same victim reactions that were used already for breaching method purposes. Then Trade Center attack context. Now these are how we have mayors involved with Washington D.C., involved with all locations, areas, and states with interbranch criminally foreign influence, live progression natures from their positions, from their database relationships. There also have been this originally and still maintained it from off campuses, on and off campuses in layers, sequence shifting, using the identities of the kids of each branch of government, of each location, of each person individually grouped in together. Hurt even who helped. Each distinctly and non-distinctly, everyone's forced. For example, this election where they have value treatments where they have political parties measuring what white voters or black voters, the media, the same media involved with racketeering with other nations, with courts, with judges, and with prosecutors, and with database racketeering private that is also interbranch. It is also intercampuses through age, through time. Also, as those database racketeerings translated onto uses of all roots and value progressions, where and how this is a breaching organized crime method that nations A through Z missed. And that was what made Native Americans A through Z miss it even when they were right. They were blaming other things other than themselves for time in positions, for loss of their actual original education. The identities of the grounds, original actual identity of relationship to itself, native, pure, no matter who we are, for this value system that's not working with delusions. So you have physical delusions that make justifications of treatments of, well, these are voting population. We know from statistics these black voters vote this way and these people vote this way. What's voting have to do with that and how they are conformed to fake sides of what can't the logic racketeering, physical delusions, raw, criminally foreign influence, positive treatments as criminal and ceaseless natures, as politics originally instilled. Our founders left us to demonstrate this, to have free speech. The more we do this, interbranch, dozens of people in New Britain Superior Court are involved with database racketeering since they were kids, involved with the human trafficking this way, and with WFSB. These are people involved with CNN sources with racketeering acts against, with courts, with Russians, and against Manafort since before they put him in prison for such. They were there in collusion with a whole bunch of people from the Britain Superior Court, from Hartford courts, associated with Brian Silver and with a Leahy family, involved with fake conversations with me, also with female prosecutors, also with people involved with forensics locations and their extended family members further involved with the principal sex offenders campus, uses of their kids, in conjunction with uses of the media for racketeering that is with grammar schools because they use it to keep on off they from off campuses the colleges and universities recorded use for racketeering acts and by a racketeering method originally and still that bonded all these other identities, motivations, natures, needs, interest to fake liberation of Marbury versus Madison, of his identity first, with simultaneously with that as value. So I forgot what we were speaking about. This is about the elections. That's because science is not has obligations for reliefs, has obligations to admit that was tried. These are courts. Their whole crime methods are recorded. Their whole crime natures. These are police forms. Former director of the FBI down, Robert Luskin, Robert Chevery, his lawyer, his lawyer's office location all the way down the street from Harriet Beecher Stowe house, Mark Twain house. We're going to note theater in a new context in relationship to criminal assistance nature. I'm not a lawyer, not a police former criminal. This is in relationship to the racketeering methods recorded that courts are involved with. They're actually recorded in motivations. These are sequence shifts too. So we have to get them from names forging and switching. That is using that to adapt for when you call out that. They can't take free speech, so they keep stacking fake recorded things in databases about people. They have this done preemptively for them through time. These are people interbranch. They're family members. Wethersfield Police Chief's extended family, a Mazzucato Bakery. A whole bunch of people still associated with his extended family, John Miano, his daughter, especially as involved with CCSU, racketeering uses of involvements just with the English department, but also as people involved with racketeering uses of the acting department and of the business offices, of the all the departments, people with science classes, stuff like that, all along that route through cities. People involved with them with the human trafficking, with the narratives associated with the human trafficking acts, the racketeering methods of forging names and switching names, have calling people into fake complaints, sending people for fake wellness check, whatever like that. So enrolls with them with racketeering uses of their databases, forging names, switching name, mail crime, wire crimes. Now we have Local 230 also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with Wethersfield Police and with New Britain Superior Court, Hartford Courts involved with child, further with a principal sex offenders campus, involved also with their Facebook pages, interbranch and intercampuses, and the stewards of them, involved with this racketeering method through time, the same ones that are adults now further involved with the principal sex offenders campus now actively. These are the people I'm talking about in the past, playing stupid, pretend they don't understand what I'm saying. Get them to pick one name in sequence and put them on paper into branch because they have their kids into branch. Use their positions for crimes with child sex offenders, leaders of the kids around their own node. We have bad courts, how they were built from kids involved with database racketeering that has involved the private schools and homeschool people also on all sides of the Wethersfield High School. Note the Chris Walters family's on the other side of Wintergreen Woods and its relationship to the other school there too. Two schools there. And these are people on all sides of that thing involved with judges through time with racketeering, human trafficking, racketeering method using confessions from strangers that and in conjunction with their sequence racketeering, inside, outside of cases, with mail. Pretending people the fake conversations, acting after that, and completely like a Joshua Julian, further involved with Facebook, with New Britain Superior Court, and with the Facebook page of the Principal Sex Offenders Campus, as rolls with all these lies and racketeering acts, collusion of him with overt criminal enterprises, also through time spreading lies before they got caught in collusion with our police forms. It's juxtaposed with a whole bunch of nations that are pretending to be positive here and there, same time, where we have the only peaceful context maintained this way, criminally foreign influence, self-defended that way in many vaccines. So we need a response because they have the sensibilities of online platforms in relationship to sequence treatments. Value treatments, the judgment of the judges are pretending they have judgment when they know they are recorded caught. You can't leave them, you can't sue them. Plus, I have the right to the Attorney General now. And not just the FBI director, former Director Luskin. There are a whole bunch of other FBI in the area they brought in. And also, Wethersfield police recorded, before they were police, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with FBI. And also with the houses with the extended family members for the crimes with the principal sex offender and with other patients and criminals before they were caught with the forensic locations. Also people associated with Cedar Hill Cemetery and the golf course across, I don't know the name of the gravestone place right in the middle of it at the end of the Berlin Turnpike, right before the heart of Hartford. Those three places have state police, have Wethersfield police, have FBI, and have other whole bunch of other nations and overt criminal enterprises, military, foreign, and domestic, involved with racketeering together. Acts against me, human trafficking, right? People with downtown Hartford. There's some kind of connection between that place and the racketeering acts associated with the databases of Trinity College and of the CCSU, also with the racketeering that involves the Facebook pages of the Britain Superior Court and of Hartford courts and of the campuses, Facebook stewards of their pages for their schools, involved with this racketeering through time. Now, this has been preventing me and other people free speech our entire lives by putting fake database conversations, fake sequence relationships to other people, because it's tied to them putting me and others into fake locations since I was a kid. They're exploiting that. They are exploiting the distances people have to walk, the ones, and God help the ones in their classes too, into branch. Now, there are a whole bunch of people with military racketeering also with the English department alone, but it's intersciences. They have the identity of each science. But CCSU is a whole bunch of families involved with the principal sex offenders campus then and now, and with the racketeering as the people involved with former director of the FBI racketeering, right? Racketeering right through administrations, uses of the Obama administration, where we have identities of law, can't defend their physical delusion, can't defend their actually recorded, not legally criminalized, criminally legalized and exploited through criminally foreign influence, left legalized criminally, law precedents, all their value treatments, all their sequence treatments, all that tied to them, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, used sicker than most people they put in jail to hide their life progressions, to hide their needs to it, affected through time. A whole bunch of people on and off Two Rod Highway and on and off Hangdog Lane, further involved with the Dillon family, with the Sean Dillon, Kevin Dillon, Anna Dillon, further involved with judges with racketeering uses of real estate companies, intercities, people involved with Park Street and a Cuddy family and a Daryl Sullivan and some tiki place and with a Lena's Pizza, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with them, and with judges too, and with prosecutors, and with people involved with them also on off CCSU racketeering intercities that is connected to racketeering acts and roles and uses on and off Trinity College. That also involves various natures of courts as well, leading and mayors and their family members, leading up to in other nations militaries, like like with locations on near the West Farms Mall, West Farms Mall. Now we have them with private lawyers. We have them with all the topics in the news with ties, and the news is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated consciously. They make conspiracy theories, pretend people have a conspiracy theories because they know they have to hide the sequence shifts. They have to hide from and hurt radical correlation simultaneous means with sequence true, the order of the finite true, the value of that, the value of what is active true, the value of what is progressive, our progressive value true, as a kind of qualitative diffusion, the value of our identities, complete science, why we are individual grouped species. This is in demonstration of an identity of value progression system, identity of relationship to itself, and the value of that. We don't have free speech to demonstrate. We have scientific process, and we have scientific consensus recorded, effectively breaching method maintained, self-valued, and that self-value defended as logic racketeering natures. You can't take hearing about James Madison properly. You can't take hearing about what they left us to demonstrate about what was entrenched with database involved further and further, lie progressions to all spots, directed to be directed what to say and what not, as specific engineering of criminal insidious natures of positive fact treatment nature styles of liars, delusions, wrong, not just because they lie. Everyone's lying, they're all victims, but they're victim predators. So when it comes to someone trying to use, not blaming anything but the ill science. So now that they have little themes, they have jobs. The colleges are connected to it. Okay, but this is how we have to make we have to we these people are going to come to our school. They're going to sue us if we don't get them a career. They give them a career in law, criminally foreign influence. They have to keep going. These from off each age of campus, maintained on and off it in layers. They also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated stacking lies and racketeering roles of strangers I don't know, and they don't know the extent of what they attach them to, like Oliveri family. I mean, a Joshua Stryker. Recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved racketeering with the Oliveri family and with the DeMauro family, with the houses in my area, and with like the corners on Griswold Street, involved with them with racketeering, with shipping, with UPS, the mail people used as victims from off those locations, but as victim predators by former director of the FBI down. Other agencies involved all gather around. Now, there are people in a Lombardo family also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with police forms that are also involved with all sides of that golf course with racketeering with them. And as people involved with on and off Fox Connecticut News, on and off WFSB, and on and off the locations next to them. This is a location method originally still divided everyone from its worse than divided everyone from themselves. They made everyone blame the cause of that, and what nature keeps demonstrating in demonstration of it on other things other than themselves. Blame the real causes of predicate acts on groups wrong, not by accident, to have that defended. That's how we have our branches used remotely. They have to know how to speak for the law. We don't have a campus that was liberated to let them, having been, no one ever heard law's voice by anything but that sick fake theater. It's not to hurt people's feelings. People have to pretend passions and emotions. Then they have to. That's why they're preventing offensively anyone who's demonstrating their sequence racketeering. There are a whole bunch of people two Mogman girls, two Mulcahy girls. I never had a conversation with my life involved with racketeering with female police families, all along with judges, all along that route that goes by the state judicial branch offices in Rocky Hill, associated places associated with a Zano family. Also, further on and off the Salstein Middle School and that church location next to it. Further through time involved racketeering as the people further involved then and now with the principal sex offenders campus, with AT and TNT also involved with the shipping racketeering, because this is uses of the identity, even the identity of the ground of the New Haven FBI, of the FBI. These are identities that are sick fakes where it comes to integrity by these things that aren't for their job, how they're told it. They don't care if that identity was used originally and still remotely. They have no integrity. The only reason that's logical for them to pretend it is because all the nations together have no integrity, hundreds of nations at once. The time impositions of that. Everyone pretending they spoke and know how to speak for positive, know how to speak for identity, know how to speak for value, know how to speak for nature. That's why they offensively have to pretend to be about environmental change, keeping scientific process now let discern, keeping sense and cell disabilities, criminal serious natures. Environmental change is positive or negative in relationship to the one identity of value progression's identity of relationship to itself. That's what science revealed. That's what revealed to the ancients. This is what English was revealed to teach. This is a living body of value, the 26 sounds bonded in increasing value, positive or negative, but it's not going to get less where and as and how it is valued. It's temporary / lasting forever nature. This is our course. Is forever's identity. Death is value here now. Time is value here now because forever is value here now. Its identity of relationship to itself and the value of that is here now. Self-generating. It's bigger than, it does not die. Its identity of relationship only increases. The value of that only increases. Only extent of our identity is automatically positive. We are unceasingly further and further as a species body of value. Negative value nature relationship to itself as forever nature, where it counts, where we are temporary nature. This is a quality of diffusion. This is a quality of logic with no criminal foreign influences. We have psychology recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with all kinds of wire crimes, mail crimes, and methods, whole methods of it. All kinds of forging names, switching names, sequence racketeering with judges of various natures of courts, originally and still, right where we have hospitals. Those people are involved with racketeering on off campus locations with houses connected and exploited for that. People associated with corners of streets. Now I don't know what it is, the rest of it, but I know there are people associated with. See, they wanted me to pull out the people, start speaking about people I don't know, because that's how they're using the sensibilities, the courts and the police forms that are pretending they don't know what I'm talking about, and they're just writing other in databases. These are some sick beasts with each age of factory nature. We have doctors with kids recorded involved with crimes with overt criminals with the areas, patients forced by them to roles with other natures of crime too. Now there's also a guy named. They threatened me not to say anything, and they told all lies before that. But you don't have any. They forge names, switch names. We have to count to the judges, the various natures of prosecutors and their kids even involved too. Then and further with the principal sex offenders campus, with the Joshua Julian too. These are people involved with racketeering, with a whole bunch of proven federal criminals that are tied to a former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, in a case /S that was ongoing at the time of my father's death. He beat them in he beat some of them in an NLRB case, National Labor Relations Board. These are people involved with like pension thieves, racketeering with overt criminal enterprises, and with the FBI at the same time, and with they have that recorded also tied to the roles and uses of this Joshua Julian with other people on my street associated with him with various natures of racketeering, and roles with that with the stewards of the witness protection program, and roles with that within as families involved with crimes with children, other natures of racketeering with proven sex offenders campuses, on off campuses further, on off libraries further. These are people with Wethersfield Library through time, foreign and domestic, involved with the DeMorrow family, with the houses in my area, further involved with racketeering with this Leahy family, and with other doctors and their family members that fake conversations with me. There's an Anthony Yagman also with houses around and then Mike Pandolf and his brothers, also involved with racketeering on off Trinity College, on off CCSU, tied to houses around that Samuel Dix house, and on all sides of the high school and the middle school. But also as people involved with this racketeering uses intercities of each campus. There's a Eric Burgess recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with judges and prosecutors and military families and people with CCSU. I never saw him on the campus of CCSU in my life. People associated with a detective Samuda also pretended he was an arresting officer of me, switching his identity with Officer Magnanos, which is distinct from the name Manos, because these are people also intercities involved with racketeering, like with the Scalora family, also involved with racketeering with Wethersfield Police and my area, and with untimely deaths on and off Trinity College and with my area, with the same people involved with that, and with their confessions that were hid by their racketeering acts against me, interbranch, falsified police reports, as police too, from a whole bunch of cities at once. They pretend they made mistakes. Now, these are people from former director of the FBI down. There's an Ian up the street, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with them with the online racketeering, where they lie about what is actually recorded online, where they lie about their interpretations of the behavior of others online, because these are people involved with the human trafficking through time. These are people involved with the racketeering, with the databases, where they're stacking all kinds of racketeering acts, lies, kids to fake locations, fake words with each other, and they're calling the people liars because at the same time, while they're locking people to fake sides of body of value treatments as liars, criminally foreign influenced, then exploited before the Trade Center attack, in the Trade Center attack context, and since with more World Trade Center attack racketeering acts associated with this Leahy family. A whole bunch of doctors associated, confessed, and recorded. Two more times they used online associated. These are people involved with my new and past neighbors, with further racketeering with state police, Wethersfield police, FBI, CIA, and foreign and domestic, and military, foreign and domestic, and overt criminal enterprises, and the stewards of the witness protection program, all recorded, juxtaposed to their uses of the same people with my area. They also have families that play. So they take anything that's natural and they convert it to their needs to hide sequence racketeering. Because I've been trying to make a complaint since before the World Trade Center attack. But what they keep doing, they keep stacking racketeering acts on me, attaching me to fake recorded words. And they make it so more things I have to say. So it's more complicated for people that don't know me. So I'm telling you, keep it simple. Get the judges and the prosecutors to one name and sequence. Get them to response for their confessions and for their demonstrated recorded roles with racketeering, with their Facebook pages, with the child sex offenders they forced, with others worse than now too. Differentially, some ways worse that. Some way they're worse, and have the Wethersfield police chief's family, his extended family, with a whole bunch of people at CCSU involved with racketeering acts with them, and racketeering acts on and off Trinity College. And these are worse than just extortion. For example, get me my 2 IDs and get me a goddamn pick one name and sequence this Dean Alford, and get the name of get the names of those girls tied to this Joshua Stryker with Trinity College, because they're further involved with the racketeering acts at CCSU, and with judges on and prosecutors associated with racketeering, with a whole bunch of people associated with a doctor of modern languages, Dr. Shub, with that, and his family, intercities, all along those locations, people associated with crimes with various natures of courts, all along on that route that goes by the state judicial branch offices, all along that houses that live next to the state prison offices, like a Dave, I don't know his last name, people associated with Joe DeMoro, as one of the people involved with the houses in my area with medical racketeering, where they're speaking with these people that work with Hartford Hospital, with other hospitals that have those databases involved with attaching people to fake locations, database racketeering. They have their delusions raw originally and still. We're gonna have American history told, understood. It is a story until it is science with the science of this invisible clear. Each bonded subject comes with the female nature. Why? Because it comes also with a complete nature. But that complete nature also has value that's coming into it, because it's only an increase. But that's while it's going out of it at the same time. Because if we're not complete all the way, what completes us is what forces us from here, Leith of Hadith, from the value of Earth's distinct, non-distinct relationship to itself. which is most probably how we are closest to the greatest inherent nature of volume, where and as and how we're in an active phase, we're temporary, where forever nature is making more of itself through temporary slash lasting increased amounts of temporary identities, making more temporary slash lasting forever nature. Could only be the integrity to do that, to make more of itself an identity that is already possession greater than all parts of space nature, all parts of forever, the body of forever, since before matter was bonded. This is where it came from. This is cell theory. This is cell science. So where it has a distinct relationship to its inherent nature or volume, this bonds. That's an decreasing value as nature of volume it is. As increasing its nature of volume, the inherent nature of volume. That creates a distinct bond between the active and the progressive nature of volume. This one identity is its identity of relationship to itself and the value of that, where it is simultaneously distinctly onto the progressive nature of volume. This creates a bond between the active and the inherent, where it is distinctly onto the active identity of volume it is. This simultaneously creates a bond onto the inherent and the progressive, but that contains itself as well, the active. And that increases the value of the active. See, it's one complete nature's self-generation, so we can discern how it has a sequential relationship to itself as well, and we will draw this as the forever flower. This is the seed of life. We'll draw this to the seed of the forever flower, and then it grew into the forever flower. For example, the seed IAP, inherent active progressive. So we'll draw this. But we're going to take over the sciences because the science is already taken over. Naturally possessed. See, but now they are criminally foreign influenced. Self-value roles with that possession. Victims that never fathomed they could only be and stay perpetually. Lie progressions from each database to each location. Right to each where each identity of value, the identity of correlation nature is needing to and is actually capable of discerning the words that are conjunction to and as the actual value system, why and how the order to the finite translates. To this course, identities course the way of things, Bach sings. To campus yet with stolen name and legion too. It's native pure alone with value. Ooh. Be child tribes. So to understand what I'm saying, it's very simple. Originally and still, the identities of each science, the identities of the locations on the ground, all exceptions in exception nature, effectively maintained per a method, for a fact treatment nature racketeering method. That's one of the things that putting color in the law is a fact treatment nature racketeering method, an extortion method, a torture method. But it's more than that. What we're going to connect all the things is so you can see what it is actively, what the method is. not just for then, in phases. See, we have women preventing the free speech of men. We have women interbranch roles with defenses of that effectively maintain self-value roles with child defenders of all kinds of natures against everyone, boys and girls. They're using their women. This is not what we could afford. But only because they're pretending politics means what it doesn't. Oh, but these people are going to vote. That's how the blacks vote. That's how. So we measure that. What's measuring that can't defend that and afford the answers that science actually provides. That can't do anything but more and more, as a criminal and seditious nature, value identities of the locations of all colleges and universities, all difference of it, the same trap already having been used from off those locations by our directors, former director of the FBI down, by people associated with like Robert Chevrolet, his lawyer, Robert Luskins, by the roles uses of recorded uses of Congress remotely with Mueller and Comey, in conjunction with them with the interbranch database racketeering, preventing mandated law, wire crimes, uses of Fox Connecticut News, uses of WFSB, uses of WTNH to spread lies, tied to their roles with having been doing that with databases on off campuses through time. I just remind. So please respond for Connecticut media also involved with CCS with CNN because they're insulated. And if you call up, they'll lie about what is actually recorded. This is recorded. Involved the Connecticut media does this. The CIA and the FBI are indifferent to lying about what is actually recorded online and to their roles with the uses of the locations of the courts for their racketeering with them, for with their racketeering with wire crimes, mail crimes, identity thefts, frauds. A whole bunch of people with Wethersfield police recorded, confessed, and demonstrated further with a Scalora family with drug crimes and with crime rolls with sexual circles and their families with houses in my area with them with their racketeering, forging names, switching names, mail crimes, wire crimes, falsified police reports with them, identity thefts, frauds, racketeering. These are also families associated with racketeering acts with forensics locations through time with state police, FBI, doctors, foreign and domestic, involved racketeering with their worst patients and criminals before they were caught. Their physical delusions rot too. Sequence racketeering nature. We need to have this cleaned up. These are people associated with, like there used to be a harbor park. People associated with the water and like that. The Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army. These are all people involved with identity racketeering, racketeering on and off Paul Manafort Drive, CCSU, involved with sequence shifts, involved with acting. And the only context I know people in and ones I don't know at all. Specifically, so we're in conjunction with where they need to act like tied to what is WFSB is recorded, confessed, and demonstrating pretended passions and emotions out of sequence to hide their racketeering acts with child sex offenders, to hide their racketeering acts attaching me and other people to fake locations, fake ties to strangers, fake ties to natures of ties to people we know, fake sequence, fake locations, fake sequence relationships. So it's very important the lies that Joshua Julian was spreading with a whole bunch of people tied to former director of the FBI. So he's trying to hide behind sensitivities where nations will they need to lie about the integrity of their shared policing on and off campuses, shared training of them. CCSU was involved with racketeering with people from my town since through time, intercities. CCSU has been involved with child abuses since before anyone was born. This is recorded. CCSU hasn't been involved with physical delusions. This is nothing personal against CCSU. This is uses of them from off campuses. This is nothing personal against the branch of the government. This is because they're forging names, switching names. Now I need a response from them. They're also pretending I have conversations like this with people over the phone because they can't take what simple respond for WFSB attached me to fake words, fake locations, fake ties to other people. They did that to my family. They did that to others. This is with judges and police forms forging names and switching names, switching sequences from insides of courts, proven and further recorded. From insides of police stations for proven and further recorded. They have no integrity. If you say that, then you have a conspiracy theory. No one wants to make a position, and I'm not asking to speak through other people. That's why they. That's how you can't record police. They recorded themselves, pretending me to fake conversations with themselves, with my family, and with others, and seek fake sequences because I also had to do, and now they have my new and past neighbors involved with this, and a whole bunch of other families. They keep because they're trying to lock people's sensibilities. They have the prosecutors already caught. They already have no business being in the courts. The judges have no business being in the courts if they can't admit their wrongs. Fix it now, which they can't because then it shows what's actually recorded. Not just their actually recorded natures, but all kinds of database racketeering. This forgiveness is for this. They have been involved with all kinds of crime methods, like crime. They use the word crime criminally. Now, these people, a whole bunch of people associated with a former Mayor Gold and other mayors involved with racketeering with the judicial branch. Delusions wrought where they pretended to be about jobs with integrity where they have like programs for kids how to deal with that. Well, these experts will figure it out. Those experts are involved with racketeering, all bunch of bonded natures of child abuse, way worse than that also. So that was also used. Now they had to hide live progressions already, not by accident. They're in so many layers. The sensitivity of the devil, a breaching screen and tool, pretending other. These are not means. These zoning laws. This is before cars. Pathology of homes means to them. The ground's identity of native relationship to itself before and with the value of our fact-keeping nature foundation, modern nation, and between that as an increasing value with it. All negative now. Or gathered round. It's not environmental change. That's the problem. Environmental change is what we need. Evolution. We need an identity of a nature, identity of relationship to itself that is tactical ulterior. That these are tactical ulterior from, forced since before our founders' birth in layers. Forced, sustained. Your job is here. Your job is here. You speak about this. You speak that. You're hurt. Everyone's gonna go about psycho victims, but victim predators. And that's an engineering. No one was watching what flew through that. Modern nations, fake identities. Everyone was tortured distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously to pretend they couldn't fathom then and now. That and how I get England wasn't the identity extorting us here, even though it was simultaneously was the identity extorting us here. It was an identity that keeping modern nation suits and ties. It's an identity of keeping all locations, areas, and states as this criminal and seditious nature propagated. They're not going to let any leader, no matter how powerful, do anything but entertain what can't entertain itself and have not encounter what was fluent through that since before it was modern nations foundations, semi-ancient since before modern religions. Thank God for them, for the science, damage control, and for the preservation of English, a group language that had been revealed by the humanity when humanity was working together before criminal foreign influence totally polluted. Tactically, human reception of ourselves per the identity of evolution, per its identity of relationship to that self that reveals evolution's fruits and gifts, or forces it from here, lethal IDs, for space nature transfer. Pure observation. We will examine this. Boxing. Okay, thank you. Good night.